Hey everybody, I'm Pastor Bill from Open Door Baptist Church in Morehead City, and thanks for coming back for another word of encouragement. This is a weekday video series that we're putting out to help us all to put our eyes and minds back onto God's encouraging word of Scripture, the living and abiding word. Well, today we are going to look at a short passage coming out of 2 Samuel chapter 24. And 2 Samuel chapter 24 is an account of history in Israel that is probably lesser known, but nonetheless important. Listen now to chapter 24 of 2 Samuel, beginning with the first verse. Again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go number Israel and Judah." So the king said to Joab, the commander of the army who was with him, "Go through all the tribes of Israel from Dan to Beersheba and number the people, that I may know the number of the people." But Joab said to the king, "Oh, may the Lord your God add to the people 100 times as many as they are now, while the eyes of my lord the king still see it. But why does my lord the king delight in this thing?" But the king's word prevailed against Joab and the commanders of the army. So Joab and the commanders of the army went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel. Now, God had already told the people of Israel that this was a sinful thing, that instead of numbering the people and putting their trust and hope in the multitudes and the quantity of the men, especially the fighting men of Israel, God said that their hope and trust should be in Him. And this might be a passage of Scripture that could be hard to find a word of encouragement in, but here's what I would like to highlight for you today by way of encouragement in this piece of Scripture. You know, sometimes our leaders do things that might confuse us personally, and sometimes we have leaders of our land that are certainly not who we personally would have chosen. However, this scripture is so clear that God is in control. He is in control of the king. And even when the king does something sinful, it is clear that God is in control. He is sovereign. He is the high king. And even when, in this account, the man after his own heart went and did something sinful, we see that in one of those rare moments of scripture where the veil is pulled back and we can see God's purposes behind the actions of men. In this account, we actually see that it is God's anger which is kindled against the people of Israel, and so he incites their king, their leader, to do something which will result in their own punishment. These can be very confusing and difficult passages of Scripture, and there's a lot more to be said about it, of course, but this is the highlight of encouragement that I want you to take away from this today. God is in control of the smooth times and of the rough times, of the times where our leaders are doing things that we approve of, and when our leaders are doing things that might confuse us or even anger us at times. God is always on his throne. He is sovereign. Well, I hope that this does give you encouragement for today, and I also hope that you'll tune in tomorrow for another word of encouragement.